it's also important to show effort and to show genuineness and authenticity.
I think one of the keys is the follow-up. That, I think, can really differentiate you. If you get a business card, you meet someone, you learn a little bit about them, and you're very genuine in that interaction, and you send them an email afterwards saying, it was great to meet you, I think that sets you apart to begin with.
One thing that something like a LinkedIn can do, I learned this from a body language expert. He was saying when you're making these connections, and I work a lot virtually, a lot over the phone and email and things like that, to build these connections with people, sometimes if you don't necessarily have the opportunity to do that face-to-face, if you use their LinkedIn profile picture and you make eye contact, there's a chemical in your brain called oxytocin that goes off, and you start to build a small connection, just ever so slightly. And you can use that to say, all right, I'm using that to get familiar with the person. When I'm talking to them on the phone or over an email, I can kind of visualize that person saying those things, hearing or typing those things, learn about their background. But then at the end of the day, it's to their point, you're not, the first question is, what can you do for me? It's, hey, how can I support you? How can maybe we share advice? Because that way you build credibility, and through credibility you build trust in a relationship.
My encouragement to you as an introvert is to know that you have the ability to do what extroverts can't. And that is convey what you're trying to get across in a very articulate way, in a very professional way. And so hone in on that skill and find courage for that you have something that extroverts don't.
Leverage resources here in the College of Business too. OPCD is a great place. I know it's a great place to get plugged in. It helped me build some of my interview skills when I was getting ready for some interviews, was to come just do some practice interviews. And that, again, it's trying to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Just have confidence in yourself, because your enthusiasm, your excitement, your love for Auburn will really show through. And I think that when I come back and talk to students, I love to see that, because it kind of brings me back. So to me, that brings me a lot of joy, talking to people that are currently in university.
You have to be really creative. And it's fun to think about these different ways, but to continue with kind of the hypothetical scenario, let's say you meet a CFO out of Atlanta, major corporation, you're interested in working with them, really believe that it matches up well with your skill set. You're engaging with the CFO, and they're talking about, and they're a graduate, and they're talking about their love for Auburn, and they mentioned that they might have a high school student in the Atlanta area. Well, one of the things that I would leverage in that given situation is your son or daughter thinking about coming to Auburn University. Oh, actually they are. Well, would you be willing to allow me to give them a tour? I think the student recruiters down over at the Quad Center, they give you a great tour, but maybe additionally, if they're interested in the College of Business, I could give them a personal tour and then maybe take them to lunch and give them a real day life experience of a college student, and give them outside of just kind of the mainstream tour. By the way, I've got a Rec Center card. I know the Rec Center isn't on the tour guide's main list. I would love to show them this beautiful 250,000 square foot, $72 million facility. Would you be willing to allow me to take them and see that? You have a host of kind of different ways to leverage a skill set that you already have here, specifically just by being at Auburn University and using the resources around you to your benefit.